Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. I'm Felicia and I am so excited today. I have a little bit of time off now during the day, so I thought that we could bake together. I have been craving cinnamon rolls for so long, so I thought we could make them. Let's start making our dough. The first thing that you're gonna need for the recipe that I'm using, which is a clone of Cinnabon cinnamon rolls because they are superior, you need margarine. So first I'm gonna weigh out how much margarine I need. It's 1/3 of a cup. Okay, so it says 75.6 grams, so like 76 grams. Just about. Cinnamon rolls is one of those things I've always loved them. They're so good, always. There's never not a day for cinnamon rolls. Okay, I have 76-ish grams of margarine, and I'm gonna go heat this up in the microwave. I have now, I'm gonna see if I can get it out, melted, I don't think you can see that well, the margarine, and I'm going to heat up some milk is the next thing. So you're gonna need 1 cup of milk for this recipe, and it needs to be slightly warm. So I'm just gonna heat it up for a little bit. So then that goes into, you can heat it up on the stove. I'm gonna heat it up just a couple seconds in the microwave. So I warmed up the milk slightly, and now I'm gonna pour it into our margarine. I'm just gonna blend it together, and then I'm gonna use a thermometer because when you make dough, and we're going to be using yeast, this is fresh yeast, you need to make sure that what you're putting the yeast into is a certain temperature so that it won't like seize and not help the dough grow, but it also won't be too hot and just kill the bacteria in the yeast. So normally you'd say that, from what I know in most of the doughs that I've made, that it's supposed to feel like body temperature. So I always forget what that is in Fahrenheit, but in Celsius you say 37 degrees. So then I have my little thing that's in Celsius, and I'm going to check. So this is 37 degrees. Okay, so right now it's a little bit too hot. So I'm going to try to cool this down a little bit, and then we'll try and add the yeast. Okay, so now it is around 37 degrees. So I'm going to quickly put in my yeast. And for those of you who usually don't use fresh yeast, it's just like beige block. That smells yeasty. It's kind of weird. So it's 2.5 tablespoons. And when you're using yeast and dough, I don't know if you have to, but I've always been told that it's like best to put it in like with small crumbs and like divide it up a little bit, so you're not just putting like a huge piece of yeast into the dough. So that's 2 teaspoons, and then 1/2 teaspoon. I guess maybe that would be good. And then you gotta mix it up. And what essentially you want then is for the yeast to dissolve into the dough. so you don't see any of the little clumps anymore. Once all of that is blended together, you want to feed the yeast, which we'll do with sugar and then some salt. So firstly, we're going to add half a cup white sugar. And I'm going to mix that in. And then a little bit of salt. You need 1 teaspoon. And then mix that in. So we blended the butter, milk, yeast, sugar, and salt together. Now all we have left is the flour and the eggs. So I think I'm gonna start by adding the eggs. 2. So I don't know, if you have a stand mixer, just use that. That's obviously the easiest thing. I don't. So now whilst I'm mixing the first ingredients that are really just like liquid, I'm just using a fork. I don't know if you can see, but that's just like liquid. And then when I add in the flour next, I'll use a fork in the beginning just to start the stirring, and then I'll use my hand mixer with these dough attachments towards the end to finalize and get the dough into an actual dough. So because this is a dough, it is primarily flour, so we're gonna need 4.5 cups of flour. So you just gotta start measuring. There you go. And then I'm just gonna start lightly mixing this. I see now when I have to start like using all of my energy is when I'll start switching to the hand mixer to make sure I properly incorporate everything. As you can see, this is a pretty strong dough. Okay, you're gonna pull this off. Thankfully, it's pretty like intact, so you see that it falls off if you pull off pretty easily. So now we have our little dough baby. So using a hand mixer can be quite heavy, but if you use it right, it'll mix super well and then it'll become a little ball all by itself. So you get exactly what you want. But now that we're done with the dough, it looks really nice. Let's hope this turns out. You never know when you're working with yeast and dough and stuff like that. You want like any form of like kitchen towel or something, like just like a thin little towel. And I'm gonna make this slightly damp and I'm gonna put it over the bowl. And then we're gonna let it rise for a little while. I'm going to put some water on this kitchen towel, like wet. It's not supposed to be like dripping water because you don't want water in your dough. It's just supposed to be like slightly damp. And then I'm gonna put this in a warm corner of the kitchen I'm gonna start with 30 minutes and then we'll see. I think it can go up to like 45, maybe even an hour. But we'll start with 30 minutes and then we'll check on how the dough is. Whilst we're waiting for our dough to rise, I thought that we could get a head start on the other elements of a cinnamon roll. So the first thing I wanted to start with is the filling, which is literally just butter, cinnamon, and sugar. Super simple. Super delicious though, obviously. So we're gonna need a 1/3 cup of butter again. So around 76 grams. So I'm gonna start by weighing that out. Let's see here. There we go. And to make the blending easier for myself, because I'm a little teensy bit lazy, I'm gonna slightly heat this up in the microwave. Butter is melted. So I'm gonna start now with the sugar. You need 1 cup of sugar. And also specify in the recipe, it asks for brown sugar, which I'm using because it gives like the filling a lot richer of a taste, because brown sugar kind of has like a molasses type flavor to it. Like it's a lot richer. But if you forgot to buy brown sugar, for some reason don't have it at home, I have substituted with just white sugar, and I think that it works just as well. But I have brown sugar, so I'm going to use it. Okay, so finally, 1 cup of brown sugar. And then you need cinnamon. 2.5 tablespoons. And we're just gonna mix it up. So, and that's all you need to do for the filling. There you see, it's just a little mixture. And whilst we continue to wait for the dough and fix the last thing that we need for cinnamon rolls, I'm going to just put this in the fridge until we're ready to use it. Okay, we are now on to our last step, which is one of the best parts, icing. So I got yet another bowl to mix up the icing, and the first thing that you're gonna need is butter once again. I think that'll be the easiest thing to start with. So more butter. We're only gonna need 1/4 of a cup, which is 57 grams. There we go, 57 grams. And then you're going to need cream cheese. I have classic Philadelphia brand cream cheese. And you're gonna need 3 ounces or 85 grams. So I'm just gonna spoon up 85 grams. Okay, there we go. Either, to make this easy for yourself, you can use like separate bowls and then add it to the main bowl. I don't want to use that many dishes, feel like it's unnecessary, so I'll put it in the same bowl, but like you can see how them like really separated whilst measuring them in case I have to remove or add anything without like mixing them together and making my numbers not as accurate. So I feel like that works because as you can see, it's not large amounts of either butter or cream cheese. Okay, to make things easy for myself, I'm gonna start by whipping this together. I'm gonna use a hand mixer again, but with regular like mixers. If you wanted, I think you could cheat and heat this up a little bit. This is a non-microwave safe bowl, so I can't do that, so I'm just gonna mix it. And I think both work just as well. It doesn't look like a lot, but there it is. And then we're gonna start adding the rest of the ingredients. Gonna need some salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon. So half I only have a 1/4 teaspoon. And you're gonna need half of that. For basic maths apparently here. Who has 1/8 of a teaspoon? That's so little, okay? 1/8 of a teaspoon salt. Then we're gonna need vanilla. And then you're gonna need half of a teaspoon. It says to use real vanilla extract, so if you have that, you can use that. I'm using like a vanilla sugar, not a real vanilla, but it's all I have and I think it works just as well. Okay, not just as well. Real vanilla flavor is definitely underrated, but buying real vanilla is really expensive. So if you don't have it, like I don't, you can use this and I promise you it'll still taste good. It won't have the exact same vanilla flavor, but it'll be comparable, definitely. And last but not least, the most important ingredient for icing, confectioner sugar or powdered sugar. And we're gonna need 1.5 cups of this. So this is where most of the icing is happening. A little much, but that's okay. And when you mix powdered sugar into icing, I always forget that it's good to start just slow, and like possibly if you can, hold your hand over, because otherwise there will be a cloud of sugar everywhere. You'll see it'll start kind of like clumping together and looking like it's not softening up, but if you just keep mixing, eventually the like small kind of like slightly drier clumps will start mixing together and become a softer icing. There we go. So now we have a soft icing. I'm gonna scrape the rest off of this so we don't waste any. So I'm going to, with our filling, put this in the fridge now and have it cool, or just like hang out until our dough is finished, and then we'll start putting everything together. Dough has risen now, so now we're gonna take it out of the bowl. I'm gonna start with flouring my surface. I've cleaned it off and I'm gonna remove my ring. There we go. Then it says to leave it and rest for 10 minutes with a little towel or something on it. So we're gonna let it rest for 10 minutes and then I'm gonna roll the dough out. Let's remove this and let's start rolling out this dough. Gonna have some flour just in case. Keep a little pile. Oh, it's such a soft dough. Look at it. Oh, that's so nice. I love it. I love it. I like flipping the dough every once in a while just to make sure that I'm keeping it evenly rolled out the entire time. As you can see, this was surprisingly easy to roll out. It's like really soft and malleable. Okay, if you get a little bit nervous, which I always do because I would like to be as precise as I can, I'll use, this looks insane, a measuring tape just to like see-ish how big it is in comparison to how big it says. Okay, so we need it slightly longer. Let's check. Oh, that's good. And I think that that's also good. Great. Not an exact rectangle. Like it's not, the angles aren't really 100% there, but it works great. And now I'm also covered in flour, which is amazing. So now we have our little filling that's been chilling in the fridge. And I have this like small like offset spatula. And then we're just gonna spread this on. There we go. And we're just gonna mush it on the dough. Okay, this wasn't really hard enough, so I'm gonna switch to just a regular spatula. I think that'll be easier. This isn't as soft. And then you just gotta keep, like this takes a little while depending on how precise you wanna be. But for the most part, I think that it's like fairly easy. You just gotta keep working it. Okay, there we go. Just gonna roll it together lengthwise. I'm gonna keep rolling it. And there we have our little roll. What's like a bench scraper? They're usually kind of sharp on one side and then here it's rounded. So then with the sharp side, I'm gonna slice it up. First, I'm gonna remove a little from the edges. And then we're just gonna cut it up. And then I got my little buns, and then I'm just gonna put them in the tray. Okay, so I have now put them in the pan. 12 little buns, super cute. These are gonna rise for another 30 minutes, and then we're gonna bake them. So I'm gonna put them in a spot for them to rise. I'm gonna clean this up, and then we'll finally get to bake our little buns. Woo! So now they have risen a little bit again, the pan, so now they're all cuddling together. So now we're going to put these in the oven for up to 15 minutes or until they start becoming golden. So I'm gonna put these in the oven. I'll set the timer for like 10 minutes and I'll check on them, and then hopefully we can eat them soon. I'm so excited and I really want one. So let's bake. I just took them out of the oven and you can literally still hear the filling sizzling. Can y'all hear that? It's insane. Look at them. They're so pretty. I want to eat them so badly right now. They look so good. And they smell amazing. So now we're gonna let these cool for a little bit, and then I'm gonna put the icing on. And I really hope that this turns out because they look so good. And I think I believe in us. I think this is gonna be great. And I wanna eat one so badly. So let's give these a couple of minutes and then we'll get to the icing. I'm back, y'all. I had to take a small little break because I had an appointment I had to get to, but I have iced these puppies and look at them. Oh, now all you can see is the icing, but it looks so good. And I think we're gonna try to grab one out and we'll give it a taste test. Okay, let's see if we can get one of these out. Oh, it's losing a little. steal some more frosting. Look at that. That looks so good. That bottom. Oof. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna take a picture of it and then we can get to taste testing because I really want to try this. Okay, so here it is. And let's take our first bite together. Oh, look at that. The filling, the icing of a big, good old bite. Cheers. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh my god, that's insane. It tastes so good. Wow. I'm gonna see if you can get like a better cross section. You can see the like filling, and it looks so good. So good. Well, that was it, y'all. These cinnamon rolls were so good, and I definitely recommend making them. It was pretty easy. Just is a little bit of a process with all the rising and all that stuff, so make sure that you have a little bit of time to properly do everything and give it the time to rest, and you'll be super great at making these. It was fairly easy, and I'm going to enjoy these now. Oh, so good. Really, really good. And I hope y'all have a great day, and thank y'all so much for watching. If you like this video, please like it, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. I post a video every week, and I'd really love for y'all to be part of the gang. Be super fun, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.